All right, I wanted to make a video specifically talking about all the anniversary rewards, and I think it's very fitting considering today Wuthering Waves' anniversary and the rewards were revealed. And if you were unhappy with Wuwa's rewards, then you might want to quit this game because they are nowhere near even close to as good, which is very funny. But I do think for this game, in a nutshell, this was a pretty decent anniversary, and it's going to feel even better on global when 3 weeks after Anni, not even, you're going to get a new game mode, and then 2-3 weeks after that, maybe 4, you're going to get more tower floors. So for global, from May to like August is going to be a very good stretch of stuff. So in this video, we're going to talk about specifically the events, go into detail about them, talk about the new tower floors, give descriptions of the tower floors, and well, we're going to go into that, and then talk about the cube. So at the end of the video, you'll see the full cube amount, so stay tuned for that. Now we're on JP to be able to kind of deliver you all this info, so let's get into it. We're going to be using the wiki to go through all of the events one by one, and this is going to be the period that I consider anniversary. So it's going to start with Zonji. Well, basically after Yellow Kaido, because there's something before Zonji after Kaido. So after Yellow Kaido, and it's going to end at Sukuna. Even if Sukuna is not necessarily anniversary, he was so close, and the anniversary banners, I'm pretty sure we're still running. I could be mistaken. No, they were not. They were not. But it's so close that it's like, I'm going to count it as anniversary. So let's just hop into it. Now, the first thing to expect is going to be this free 10 days, 10 pull summon. So essentially every single day you're going to have access to this. And what exactly is it? Well, if you check here, right, all of these units are going to be in the banner. Every single one of these units is going to be on the banner alongside the recollection bits, which I don't know if they have that here. Do we have that? Oh, yes, we do. Alongside all of these recollection bits are going to be on the banner. So you're going to have like a free chance every single day to do it. And it's going to stay here for over a month. And it is very good. I mean, on one of the accounts that I was re-rolling on, I got Hollow Purple. So you could literally start off, get Hollow Purple, your green's done, then you summon, you get Zonji, yellow's done, then you get Domain Gojo, red's done, and then you get Sukuna, blue's done. It could literally be as easy as that for your DPSs. Now, Domain Gojo is not necessarily like an SS DPS, but his damage is extremely high still. I think I've done like 5-6 million while running him as a support on one hit. So is it possible to run him as a DPS? Yes, you could literally get your full rainbow color DPS roster from just the anniversary units. Okay, so that's great. Now there's a story event. Now this is a 2-part story event, and this story event actually is going to give you a free skin for Zonji. So if you do end up pulling Zonji, if it wants to load, WVPN, if you do end up pulling Zonji, only if you pull Zonji, you could actually run this skin, and it's going to change the animation, well, with the skin on it, of course, and it's going to change the art. Now, even if you don't have Zonji, I believe you could put this in your, what's it called, home screen, so you could have it running. I'd rather this art way more. I think it looks way better, but yeah, you could essentially, even if you don't have Zonji, you could still put it here as one of the arts. So, you know, there is still that possibility. But, you know, this is going to be giving quite a lot of cubes because it's a 2-part story event, right? So this is going to be updated when Domain Gojo comes out. So Domain Gojo doesn't necessarily have an event with them, but they might put on global. What I could see happening is putting one of the map events. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you could actually see here, if they updated it. I hope no, they didn't. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go to the global Twitter. It doesn't really matter. This is quite important and it might be relevant. So if you see here, they put this event with Kaido. Kaido did not have an event, and right now we're still missing 3 map events from before. So I could easily see them putting one of the map events with Gojo, Domain Gojo, and they could do that. And then of course the skin feature, Yuji's is free. Domain Gojo's you have to pay. I think it's going to be around $20 to $25 with 3,000 cubes. So we'll see. I don't know how they're going to monetize it on global, but we'll have to see. Now, there's an event marathon. I do want to say we haven't gotten those on global, so I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't think we're getting these, and that's an L. Now, you might be like, oh, you're just complaining. No, not really, because we're losing Chaos Crystals, first of all. I don't give a fuck about the cubes. They could give cubes other way, but we don't get SSR tickets all willy-nilly like this, so we're losing SSR tickets too. I think it's a bit of an L. It's just free. Like, it forces you, it gives you extra incentives to do the events. I think they should add it. Like, fuck the fucking battle pass login shits. Just give us this, right? Now, There's going to be a login that's going to give 1800 total. So part 1 gives 300, part 2 gives 1500, so that's decent. Then we're going to have a free 3000 cubes just for logging in, very much like hidden inventory, so pretty decent. Now next up, there's going to be the enhancement support missions. So let me go in game and show you what this is. Essentially, they added another floor to the enhancement quests. So before there was only 6, right? It stopped at 6. But now there's actually 7. So you can see it's exactly double, which means imagine doing 6. Imagine 4 times when there's 2 times enhancement quests. That's basically what this is. Whenever there's enhancement quest, it's 4 times what Global has now without 2 times, right? So it's crazy. It's very good. You're going to get a lot of stuff. I mean, we could do it because I don't really have much to farm. So let's just see how much we get from 200 AP. Right, this is what you would get with 2 times, and it's just all the time. So you're probably going to see enhancement quests less after this, but it gives 460. Maybe they're going to continue, but it gives 466 for 200 stamina, right? Pretty good. So that's for all of them. I think it just doubles outright. Now then, this is going to be huge. Every day you could get 300 AP free. You get 3 refreshes of 100 AP, and this is going to be going on for 2 weeks. It's going to be 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, I mean, it might be longer, it might be shorter, I don't know. But 2 weeks would equate to like, what, 14 times 300. It would be about 4,200 stamina from this if it's 2 weeks, which is huge. Now, they're updating the max player rank, which I think they already did. I'm pretty sure this is just here, right? If we check, right, it's just here. I don't know. I don't know why it's earlier, but you know, Cook, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's just like the max play rank you could achieve was extended. Now there's friend invitation reset. So I mean, oh, wrong one. That's my camera actually. I didn't realize it was still on. I should probably take that off. So if we go here, you'll see that we have an extra 3,000. This is from the anniversary. This is the base one. This is the anniversary one. So you're going to get an extra 3,000 from that. And then of course, this comes out with Zone G. Now Zone G, well, there's actually a lot of stuff. So first of all, I think this is from login. So this one from login is going to increase damage dealt and heal. So it's not going to be that good. It's a very low damage dealt. So honestly, like, you're not going to run that. This is the story event one. And this is going to increase cursed energy and give 100 alt gauge. Because it's a 9-turn cooldown, it's not going to be that good. Okay, so I just want to say that. You're not going to really run this even with it. It's like, nope, you're not running this. Okay, 5 CE, listen, the Junpei one gives 20, right? And then, of course, you got the Itadori one, which you also do not run because it's only 1 turn. If this was a 2-turn buff, it would be pretty much almost a must run, but it's not. So it's like you're not running this on Zone G. What you are running for people who are interested, well, is going to be this. If I could find it, it's going to be this one. Because this is for both his zone turns. So it's going to be like over 2,000% damage multiplied by the 65% with the high taijutsu stat here. So that's where you're going to be running. So that's the first part of the anniversary. Now the second part is going to be Domain Gojo with Tower. So Tower came out a bit before, but it's probably going to be at the same time. So Domain Gojo is going to come out with one of the best recollection bits, which I think makes his value just way higher because it's a 15% ult charge for 2 turns alongside 20% damage dealt, and then he also increases all allies' crit chance by 10%, and this is actually going to be really big. And why is that? Because of his kit in domain, he then makes it so that he lowers enemies, well, decreases the crit hit res by 15%. So why this is important is because you're giving 10% crit rate on this recollection bit, alongside this technically stacking twice since you're forced to use this, right? If the DPS you're running behind Gojo like wants to crit or it profits from critting, it's going to be good, like Sukuna, because this is going to be twice you use that, so 30%, 40%, right? Sukuna is going to have that extra 40% chance if that's how it works. I'm not too sure actually. So the Maki Cola, I think it's called, is a very, very good recollection bit just to keep in mind. Now, the second part of the story event comes out, and then they give this, which is actually not that bad. Like, it's better than before, than the previous one. It's a 70% damage increase for yellow units. And then it also lowers enemies' crit res by 20% for 5 turns, right? The only thing is you take a lot more damage, but if you, for some reason, need to use this, if you're a new player, like, I guess this could be good if you get really shafted, and you want to use Zone G, so that's not bad. Now, the tower floors, I actually do want to go through these floors, so we're going to kind of just talk about them. I'm going to pull up the sheets, and and we're just going to kind of go through them. I'm going to go through them in order, and you're going to get a general idea. Now, I will be making actually a full guide in one video of like how to beat it, but I just want to talk about what exactly this entails. So let's just head into it. All right, so I'm pretty sure 41's not that bad. Essentially, it's just a very simple thing. Well, obviously, by the way, these floors, if you're not mono, you're going to take a lot more damage. So this point forward, like, that's why they are pushing mono units to sell, because when you're not mono, you are very likely to get killed. So that's why pay to wins are going to have a much easier time with this. But it's obviously not a necessity, just something to keep in mind. So basically, this one's going to be very easy. So he just gets a damage reduction buff every turn, removes debuffs out of break mode, and then after 40 turns increases power greatly. If they make that 20 turns, then stall's going to become a lot more difficult. Like if it's after 20 turns, you're basically dead, then that could be very interesting. And he takes 2 actions, so that could be a bit annoying for sure. This one's not that bad, honestly, not much of an identity if we're being honest. Now, 52 is very difficult because you actually need someone to like remove buffs, because he gets a damage reduction buff every 2 turns when his HP is 50% or higher. So it's like, okay, how are you killing when there's, I think it's a 90% damage reduction buff, right? So you need someone to remove it like Toji or Miguel to lower it. Now you also can do this with red Yuji, so that's also something very interesting. But it's going to be very annoying to actually complete for sure. If you don't have Toji, good luck, right? You're going to need to have red Yuji. Basically, if you don't, like, this is the first, like, I guess like blockade to actually pass. It's going to be very, very difficult if you do not have Toji. Now you can do it with red Yuji, but that's also another unit. But obviously, remember, we're getting 100 free pulls, which does mean you might get red Yuji in those 100 pulls. So keep that in mind for sure. Because if you don't get rid of that damage reduction somehow, it's very difficult to actually get through. Now 53 is also a very fun one where you cannot buff, so you can only debuff, which means you need debuffers. And this is the first time Junpei actually shines, because this tree does so much damage that Junpei lowering Jujutsu is going to make the tree do almost nothing, and it's really good as a debuffer. Amazing stuff. Now for 54, it is going to be, to my understanding, yeah, it just seems like long range damage reduction buff to self. So it's not going to be that difficult. I do not remember struggling on this. I've seen someone, I mean, everyone's doing it with blue Gojo. Someone literally did it with yellow Nanami, so I think you're fine on 54. Now 55 is the next blockade, so it's 52 and 55. Those are the only two I'd really say. And this one, essentially, you need to black flash. If you don't black flash enough on different attacks, like Zonji doing 2 hits is not counting. It has to be attacks that are different. So you want to get 3 black flashes to remove debuff immunity. Every black flash lowers the damage reduction. He starts off at 90% damage reduction, and it's very hard to kill if you don't black flash. So you need like units like green Yuji, yellow Nanami, yellow Yuji, and red Nobara that could help you clear to lower the damage reduction by black flashing, and then you'll be fine. So that's basically it. But it's a very big blockade because Zonji and yellow Nanami help a lot, right? Now, 56 is going to be a very annoying one, but Blue Ghetto, if you do have Blue Ghetto, is going to be very good to help you. So he's going to get damage reduction buff every turn. And then if he gets an AoE attack, then he actually buffs his allies with damage. So it's going to be very difficult to use AoE attacks unless you kill, right? So that's going to be for sure annoying. Now, when the other mobs are defeated, then the damage reduction is gone. So you want an AoE unit to 1-tap, and then afterwards, you should be able to kill them, is basically how this is going to go. Should not be that complicated. The blue floors in this are fucking piss easy, if I'm being honest. Now, 57 actually does a lot of damage. So he's going to do a bit of healing, not really that much, but still he has a lot of health, so even 1% is a lot. Now he applies different debuffs depending on the slots. So if you're in the first slot, then you have a damage reduction debuff, so you do less damage, and in the other slots, you take more damage. And he's going to do 2 actions, and he's just going to do a fuck ton of damage, so it's going to be very difficult. And this one does have a secret floor, I believe, with Panda. So you're just going to slot Panda into the last slot, and you should be good there. Now, this one is going to be green, and it's gonna basically, this one's actually pretty fun, where it swaps between damage reducing, close range and long range, right? So you're gonna have to kind of mingle your way through that. And then also he also does a damage reduction buff for taijutsu and jujutsu alternating also. So half the time taijutsu doesn't work and the other half jujutsu doesn't work. So it's going to be actually, I personally think this is one of my favorite floors. I do enjoy it quite a lot when I do fight it for showcases. Now, this one, 59, is yellow type advantage, as we can see. And it's going to be pretty difficult because in the first and second slot, they have damage reduction debuff. Then they all have a weakening debuff, and it's going to be very hard to kill. There's some pretty tough shit. I'm pretty sure he also does stun. I don't have the most expert, like, hands-on experience with this one, but trust me when I say this one's difficult. You're not going to do too much damage. I'm pretty sure he does stun, and it's going to be very hard to kill him. I'm pretty sure Tinjo has a much easier time than Zonji to clear that one for sure. Now 60 is actually very easy. Just go for a one-tap nuke. You could do this with Blue Gojo. You could do it with maybe Blue Ghetto, and you could also do it with Sukuna, obviously. He does have revive status if he falls below 40%, but you could also just kind of like one-tap him. He's not that difficult. He does have some damage reduction and shit, and the mobs can be annoying, but honestly, this is one of the easiest floors, I think, and it's fucking the last one, which is very funny. Very, very funny. So that's it for the tower floors. That's all the explanations. Hope you enjoyed that. Now, let's just kind of move on. That's going to give in total 3,300 cubes. We could actually check this. So, not this, sorry, this. So we could see that it's giving 3,000 cubes. We get one dupe shard, and then we get one phantom stamp. And then we get 1.2 million now. So honestly, it's pretty good. So 24, 36, 48. So you're getting 6 million. You're getting 6 million beacons, which is pretty good. JP is also pretty good, and obviously these crystals are not bad. So yeah, that's going to be it. And in total, that gives 3,300 crystals, I think. Cubes because of the secret floors. So yeah, that's going to be it for tower. Now we're going to move into the JJK 0 section where they had the buff, so that's not going to be part of it. Now there's a story event and a map event. So the story event's going to be pretty good. Remember, it's going to be boosting all the JJK 0 units. So we could actually check this out. So we have Maki, right? And then we're going to have all of these guys. So Panda, Inumaki, Yuta, Ghetto, and Miguel alongside Maki are all going to be boosted alongside the recollection bits. So that's going to include the Miguel one, the Ghetto ones, and the Yuta one. And then also going to include the two JJK0 ones. So all of that's going to be boosted. And if you know how that works, it's going to be fucking insane. I think Gintu was saying how he had like 250% bonus. We're going to check it out after. Now we're not sure if JJK0 is coming, but I would like to make an assumption off the fact that Ghetto and Yuta were buffed. And why does that matter and why is that important? The main reason is because they were buffed. That also means they have to resell them so that they can make their money. And people want Blue Ghetto. If you check my comments, a lot of the times when I talk about Blue Ghetto, people are very excited to summon for him. So he's going to come, right? That's my logic, at least. Let me know if you disagree with that. So we get the story event, then we get Yuta and Miguel. Now, Yuta, same recollection bit. Now, this recollection bit is one of the best recollection bits because it just gives 200 alt gauge at the start of the turn. And you could actually stack this twice, giving 40% total Jujutsu stats. And it's very good. If you're running someone with Pride, you just stack this alongside it on another unit, and you're going to be able to get a nice extra bonus, and it does do quite a bit extra damage with it. Very good. That's on Miguel's banner, so hope you get lucky. Then there's the map event. This is the map event and not the story event. I don't know why it says story event. I got gaslit into believing it's a story event, but it's the map event. Came with Ghetto, so I'm going to check my video. And if we see right now, it's the map event, right? So we could actually see, I think, the bonus that I had. I don't know where it was, but they actually had to end up giving us some AP packs because it was too fucking hard to actually grind this. But there was a special kind of like a milestone thing where can we go on it? Damn, bro. I must go on it at some point. Yes. So you see like at 400, there's different milestones. So like 400 million, you get a chaos crystal. So I think I showed probably, let me see. So we get chaos, I'm just gonna find it, one sec. And yeah, at 600 million, we get, what's it called? The skill page fragments. And then at 800 million, we get a phantom stamp. Now, they also ended up adding in a shards. They had ended up dupe shards because we didn't fully clear all the events because it was too hard to clear. We had to, I think, defeat the minions 800 million times, which was crazy for JP with a lot less players. But essentially, I do want to just show the bonus I had was 80%, but this is like without... Oh, wait. Okay, no, it didn't... Sorry, it didn't count the units. It was only the recollection bits. So the map event's going to be a bit more difficult in terms of the bonus, but I'm pretty sure story event's the one with like 250%. So both the story event and this are going to be insane because of the extra rewards that they kind of gave out for this. And you got a bunch of cursed objects for how many you cleared. So in terms of the boost, it was a lot higher, right? And I wouldn't say this was like the craziest rewards, but they did end up giving the 30 AP packs, but I don't know if that's going to be there. We'll have to see. If they include that, that's going to be huge. But yeah, no, the map event, basically, it's a special one where you have an extra stage. You have to go through 30 minions, and you'll see on the top when Gojo clears, it's going to go down, right? So it's 24, and then it's 21, or sorry, it's not Gojo, I guess I didn't put him in, and then it's 18, and then yeah, so you have to clear 30, and it costs more AP, but it's a lot quicker this way. The map event was pretty fun. I enjoyed this one out of all of them. So yeah, the map event and story event are going to be the best in history, essentially. Then we got Sukuna with the story event. Now the story event recollection bit, I think was yeah, no, so it gives a bit of a damage increase, but it's like, I don't know. It's not that crazy if we're being honest. And it's a damage increase and not a stat increase. So I would not really recommend it if we're being honest. Sukuna's recollection bit either is not really that good. You're not using this. You're using pride. Okay, you're using pride. Don't complain about it. Okay, that's kind of just how it is. And then it's Sukuna. And then we're kind of done. Right afterwards, we get like a New Year shit. We get the Cursed Corpse Explorers, but I think it's basically going to be done by Sukuna. So they could obviously throw some things in, but for everything confirmed coming, it's what I talked about, right? And then after that, just to kind of put it into perspective, we're going to be in December, but then end of January is when the sweep came out, which means 2 to 3 weeks after Sukuna comes out, you're going to get the new game mode. And with Muta, you're going to get the sweep game mode. Curse sweep battle, right? It's going to be this, and that's going to let you buff your units more, making tower easier, but also the hardest content in the game at the moment. And then after that, in April, so 3 months, it'd be like a month later, a month and a half later, maybe even earlier, because they could obviously switch the like timing of it. We're going to get the extra 20 tower floors, which we're actually going to see tomorrow night. So I'm going to be able to react to that and kind of see how the first ones are. So I mean, yeah, listen, the content for global is not really going to stop. We get 10 tower floors into new game mode, into 20 tower floors, and then after that we go into the anniversary, right? So it's pretty crazy how that's going to line up. It's going to be a really good time for global. Hope you guys are excited for that. I'm pretty excited overall. Now let's talk about the cubes. This is going to be the rewards to expect. So this is not completely accurate, and why I say that is because if we check here in November, we're probably not getting the event marathon because we didn't even get the first one. And also there's the fact that like for Sukuna, there was other gifts, and for JJK0 that weren't necessarily tied to the like actual anniversary, and this was like for December 24th. And then we got New Year's gift, which was a lot like, well, obviously tied to New Year's, right? So that's not really going to be counted. And then also they got the combined login, so that they have an extra 9,000 above us, which is kind of crazy. So we're probably going to get different ways to get cubes, but as of right now, this is the known amount between part 1 to Sukuna, which I think is really ass. If we're being honest, I would have liked or expected at least 35,000, which is about what JP got. So we could only hope that that's what happens and we get some more powerful enemies. We get Cursed Corpse, we get the event marathon, and then we maybe get the other map events like I said for Domain Gojo. And this 23,000 could easily become 35 to maybe even 40k, which considering we might be getting a stretch of 6 limited units, 5 of them being very good, I think it would not be far-fetched if we're being honest, right? I don't even give a fuck if we are able to save. It's just fair. All right, so that's gonna be it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this anniversary. Content-wise, not bad for this game, at least by their standards. Rewards-wise, pretty ass, but they have the opportunity to get a lot higher with the rewards, so we'll definitely see. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like, let me know what you're most excited for going forward, either Global or JP, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.